again and welcome to Shed Talk, my weekly magazine video series looking at the keeping, breeding and showing of cage birds, with a particular focus as usual on the exhibition style budgerigar. Well, after a hectic couple of weeks, I haven't spent as much time in the bird room, as you know, as I would normally do. So this week is mainly a week of catching up, and I thought I would just, as we're going around the bird room, talk a little bit about my normal routine and what the catching up that I now need to do. Right, let's start in here then. So with the last couple of weeks being a little bit hectic, as I say, and indeed this weekend, or the last weekend just gone, was probably even more hectic in that I then had to go down and pick up my son from university. So it meant that I was spending much less time in the bird room than I normally do. So normally my routine in the bird room is that I come in the morning. I normally get in here for about 8 o'clock. I'm lucky that I am retired, or semi-retired I suppose, so I have a little bit more time than perhaps most people that are working, and I must admit, over the last couple of weeks I've been wondering how I managed when I was in full-time employment. Anyway, so my normal routine is I get in here, like I say, for about 8 o'clock, and I will then go round and have a set routine of going round and basically taking the dishes out of one cage. Those that are going to go out to get washed, and then I work my way round with this like that, removing dishes, washing up, and then replacing the seed in each of the containers, and also the soft food seed that has been washed, and replacing the water that is also been with the water bottles that have also been washed. So I will do that around all of the budgerigars, and then go around all of the flight cages. I do the same thing outside. So again, out there I will take the water bottles off of the the Fife breeding cages, and the soft food dishes will come out. They'll get washed and the seed will get replaced. And once a week I will focus on a particular section of the breeding room. So like on a Monday, I will go, Monday and Tuesday is the Fife shed mainly, and on the Monday I will do the Fife breeding cages, so they will get a thorough clean. And then on the Tuesday it will be the Fife and Finch Flight. That will get all of the dishes will get a thorough clean, including the seed dishes, and the flight will get a clean out. So that's my, and then I'll work around the same in here. So on a Wednesday it's most of the stock cages in here, so where the youngsters are, and the small stock cage that I've got. And then Thursday is the main breeding cages for the budgerigars, and then on a Thursday I will clean one of the budgerigar flights, and then on the Friday the second of the budgerigar flights. So that's my normal routine. And of course, because I've been busy, it's been literally, I've been coming in here probably late in the evening now rather than first thing in the morning. So coming in here late in the evening when I've got back from invigilating, and it's been literally just been a washing the dishes and topping the seed up. So I haven't had a chance to clean the cages as I would normally do. So that's the main catch up this week, has been making sure that I'm cleaning the cages out, and particularly the flights, which obviously with there being more birds in there, making sure that I am thoroughly cleaning the flights out, making sure there's no mess inside, both out there in the Finch and Fife flight and also in here. So that's the routine in terms of the cages, I suppose. The other bit that I will normally do, or that I do, is I normally spend about an hour each day just going through the actual bird room. So that will be dusting everything down as much as I can, and we all know budgerigars produce lots and lots of feather dust, so I have to dust everything down. I clean the air filter once a week, or sometimes twice a week, and I will then also make sure that the place gets a thorough hoover. And there's the other problem I have, particularly in this shed, is making sure that I've cleared all the cobwebs off the ceiling, because it does seem to attract an awful lot of spider webs everywhere. So yeah, so that's the main focus, and that's what I've been doing throughout that's my main focus throughout most of this week, has been catching up on the cleaning inside inside both this shed and the outside shed. Well, before I look at the other area that I've sort of been struggling with while I've been away, don't forget, if you enjoy the videos, please do give them a big thumbs up. If you're not yet a subscriber to the channel, then of course please do hit the subscribe button. If you don't want to miss any future videos, then hit the bell icon. And of course, if there's anything you particularly would like to see in future videos, or you have any thoughts about anything you see in any of the videos, then do of course leave a comment in the comment section of the YouTube channel. All of those things will help the channel to reach a slightly wider audience and help the channel to grow. Right then, so in terms of the other main area, and it is of course the breeding cages. Now I've obviously during that busy period, I've obviously kept an eye on everything. But there are a couple of areas that when you're busy, I suppose you can drop behind on. And the two areas of those, the first of all is making sure the nest box is kept in good order. So, regular maintenance of the nest box, whether that be just making sure that it's not getting too dirty, and those nest boxes, of course, that are getting a bit messy, will need clearing and cleaning out. And the other area, of course, is the birds. So when you've got youngsters in the nest box, there's a real risk that the rings can become fouled, particularly if they've got a messy hen or a couple of very messy chicks. So making sure that I clean the rings, and that's another area I focus on now I'm back in here and I've got a bit more time on my hand. Finally, of course, we mustn't forget that breeding is still going on, and therefore I need to make sure my breeding records are up to date. And I will admit, over the last week to 2 weeks, this is an area that I have neglected. I've not necessarily logged every egg that's been laid, and in terms of ringing and hatch dates and those sort of things, it's an area that I do need to catch up on now. So yeah, it really is an area that you can miss, and I have also been moved a couple of eggs around. Fortunately, I've marked those eggs, so I can now make sure my breeding records are up to date as to where each of the eggs are and when they were laid and when I'm expecting them to hatch out. So there we are, that's the situation in terms of catching up. I will now very quickly talk about some of the things that have been going on, particularly out here particularly in here in the budgerigar breeding room. So just a very quick talk about how the breeding cages are going. Outside in the Finch and Fife flight, I'm pleased to say that the 3 Fife chicks that had hatched have been are being successfully brought up. 2 of them have now actually hopped out of the nest, and I do need to change the nest pan in that particular cage so that the hen can start building up a new nest and can go down for her second round. So all 3 of those chicks, we've got 1 still in the nest pan and a couple of them have jumped up. They look a little bit early, you can probably see them in the pictures that I will be showing you. So that pair is currently going okay. The second pair still sat on the eggs. I haven't had a chance to look at those eggs and see whether any of them are full. Again, one of those things that tends to get neglected when you're really busy, but I will let her continue to sit on them, and I would be expecting to hatch within a week, I would have thought, given how long they've been how long she's been incubating them. So I will check them probably later on this week if I get a chance, once I finish doing all the cleaning. Right, so that's the Fifes outside. In here, so the 3 chicks that are in the cage directly over my shoulder, in cage number 1, all doing well. So in all honesty, I think the best of the chicks, just in terms of its overall appearance, is the light green opaline, although it does look like it's got one of its feet turned in very slightly, and it's not bothering it in terms of perching and getting about. It's fine, but it just, you know, when I look at it, it does look a little bit like that. It may be something that will just correct itself with age. The cinnamon grey is you know, it's not a bad bird. I'll see how that one develops, but certainly the oldest of the birds, the grey-green cinnamon, and I think it's going to be a hen, but even as a hen, it looks like it's not going to make it to next year. So I will probably be looking to move that bird on. And I do have a couple of people in mind who have asked me for hens in particular. So that could be one that I could move on. They weren't looking for exhibition birds, just so you know, before you think I'm moving on a bad bird to somebody. Right, so that's cage number 1. Cage number 2, this was the pair that looked like they were going down again, started to lay. 2 eggs were destroyed. I've moved one of the eggs from that cage into the cage below, so I'm hoping that that egg will survive. So that's the but they've now stopped laying. The hen appears to have stopped laying, so whether she has just gone, you know, come out of breeding condition and that's why she destroyed the egg, she just didn't want to go back down again, although she has cleared the nest box and she still goes in there. Right, so that's cage number 2. Cage number 3 is now split, so and I'm in the process of cleaning cage number 3 out. I said I was going to do that in the last episode. Cage number 4, the 2 chicks in there are, you know, developing relatively well. They should be jumping the box within the next week, I would think. So I'm pleased with how that pair has gone. In cage number 5, we've got the 1 light green in there, chick, that should be out of the nest box, and I keep putting it out onto the cage floor, and it keeps, sorry, excuse my language, it keeps jumping. I will beep that bit out. It keeps jumping back in to the nest box. I do apologise to the younger viewers there. It keeps jumping back into the nest box, and so with that in mind, I don't know, it looks like it ought to be weaned by now, but I'm going to give it another week. And the reason I'm concerned is because the hen has started laying again, and we have a couple of eggs in there. I would like to move those eggs, because I did say I'd like to split this pair, but I've seen the cockbird treading the hen, so the chances are those eggs are going to be full. Where I move them to, not really sure just yet, so just because I've got a lack of space really. So the other pair, the pair in cage number 5, cage number 6, the final pair, not really done much since the clear round. Hen hasn't started laying again. If she had, I would be moving eggs into there. Hasn't started laying again. I'm going to give them about another week. If the hen does start laying, it will give me somewhere to put some of the other eggs, at least in the short term, and we will then be able to let her bring up, hopefully, any eggs that are full in that nest box, whether they be hers, which I would hope, or the ones from the other nest box. So that's a quick roundup of how the breeding has gone for this episode. Sorry that it was all very much, this episode was all very much, you know, that very interesting pictures of me either washing up or hoovering or cleaning nest boxes out. But it is part of bird keeping, isn't it? You know, it's one of the essential bits of bird keeping, and when we do get a bit behind on it, it is really, really important that we catch up. Or in my view, it's really, really important that we catch up and make sure that we're keeping the birds in the best order that we can. But that does bring us to the end of another episode. The next episode again might be slightly shorter because we're back to the exam period. So, but I will attempt to, as always, get a video out each week. So like I did say, don't forget, if you do enjoy them, then subscribe to the channel. But until the next one, as always, do stay safe and enjoy your birds.